Welcome, my name is Jocelyn, and for today's video I thought I would go through all of my beauty items and pick out my favorites from 2019. These are some products that have been tried and true that I reach for when I know that I want something to just work for me. Most of these items I've had for the majority of the year. I do have a few honorable mentions that I've had for a little bit less time, but have used a good amount of times and have an extremely positive review on. I have majority makeup items here, a handful of skincare items, and then just a couple of hair care items. If you're familiar with my channel, you'll definitely recognize a handful of these things because they're things, of course, as you would probably imagine, I have raved about on my channel before. So I thought this was a good video to kind of round out the year a bit now that we are coming to a close. Without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. Let's go ahead and get the hair care, skincare out of the way since those are a little bit less exciting for most of you probably. Let's go ahead and do the hair care first. I just have two items by the same brand. I have mentioned these on my channel before. They are the Olaplex line. I have the No. 5 Bond Maintenance Conditioner and the No. 4 Bond Maintenance Shampoo. I also have the leave-in conditioner, but I haven't used that as much as I've used these. I am transitioning from coloring my hair red for the last 12 years to my natural blonde. You can kind of see my roots poking through right there. That process is really damaging on the hair, and I've also damaged my hair quite a bit over the years straightening it. This is it naturally curly. There's no heat applied to this hair right here, but for a long time I did straighten it, and so with that and with the process of going blonde, I needed something that would kind of help bring my hair back and get it healthy, and I swear this worked for me so well. Since I've started straightening my hair back in, I think, middle school, I just have never really had healthy hair. Split ends all over the place, dry, really bad, and really my hair is so healthy right now, even with lightening it and toning it and all of that. Part of that is because of these products right here, and part of it's because I haven't been straightening it as much. These definitely, I think, are basically all I've used for the year of 2019, and I will continue to use them because they work so well. They are a little bit pricey, but I typically purchase these at a salon using my hairdresser's discount because she offered it to me, and so that has definitely saved me some money. If you have that option, I would highly recommend, but I would also pay full price for these just because of how well they work and how much they have saved my locks. Moving on to skincare, I have two tried and trues and then two honorable mentions. The first tried and true is a cleanser. I've talked about this many times on my channel. This is the Youth to the People Kale and Green Tea Spinach Vitamins Superfood Cleanser. I have repurchased this time and time again. This cleanser just works really well for me. I have pretty oily skin. I have heard that for people who have dry skin, this does not work that well for them, so keep that in mind. Oily skinned friends, this might be a good option for you to check out. There's only a handful of cleansers that work really well for me. This is one of them, as is the Dermalogica cleanser in the Medibac line. That one also works really well for me, but this one I think is a little bit cheaper than that one, and so this is definitely a call out for this year. Next, we have another cleanser, but this is a cleansing balm. I think during the spring VIB sale of this year, I picked up the Drunk Elephant Slay Makeup Melting Butter Cleanser. Now, I have been on the hunt for a less expensive cleanser. This one really isn't that outrageous compared to really other things in the Drunk Elephant line. I think this retails for $34, which is on par with other high-end skincare cleansing balms, but it is still $34. So I've kind of been on the hunt for something a little bit less expensive, but this works just so well for me. I think this is my second or third tub of this, and I use it to take off my eye makeup and my base makeup, all of it. I just kind of smear it all around my face, take a damp washcloth, wipe it away, and then go in with a more heavy-duty cleanser like, well, this one. This is the one I go in with. This takes off the first layer of makeup really well. It takes off the eye makeup, even waterproof eye makeup, well, without leaving my vision blurry, because I've noticed with some cleansers, if I use them on my eyes, the residue of the balm gets onto my contacts and then makes my vision super blurry, and I can't get rid of it because it's like an oil based, so I just have to take my contacts out. But this I don't have that issue with. There's no burning or anything. This does leave the skin feeling a little like there's a residue that's left on your skin, but I don't really mind that because one, I go in with a cleanser after using this balm, so it kind of rinses it away, but also it's like a hydrating kind of sensation on the skin. If you don't use a cleanser after using this, you might not like the way your skin feels, but the way I use it, that doesn't bother me at all, and I really, really like this stuff. Next, I have my 2 honorable mentions. The reason that these 2 skincare products are honorable mentions is because I haven't been using them for too long. I like to really thoroughly vet out a product before I fully commit it to like holy grail status, but I have been using these pretty consistently over the last, I would say, month or two, and definitely month. The first is a product by The Ordinary. This is the glycolic acid 7% toning solution. Now, you can kind of see how much I've used up of this. It might not look like very much, but a little goes a long way with this product. Some people recommend using this only a couple times a week, which makes sense, especially for those with more sensitive skin. I don't really have that issue. I have very oily, acne-prone skin. And I was using this not every night, but I noticed that when I did use it every night, I did see a difference. I do use this most nights. The only nights that I don't use this is when I use an AHA and BHA nightly treatment. I don't like to kind of use both of those products during the same night just because I feel like it might be a little too much for my skin. I really think that it makes a difference for my breakouts and just my complexion in general using this as often as I feel comfortable. Oh, but what I will also say about this is that it does leave the skin feeling a little bit sticky, tacky, kind of. It's not too bad. If a product is really uncomfortable on the skin, especially if I'm wearing it at night, I don't like it. This isn't too bad. It does, again, leave a little bit of a stickiness, but if you add a moisturizer on top of it, which is what I do, it pretty much goes away. Oh, and next is also a product by The Ordinary. This is an AHA and BHA peeling solution. This is a chemical exfoliant that you put on your skin, leave on for 10 minutes, and then wash off. So this one is definitely an honorable mention because I think I picked this up during the, not the most recent VIB sale, or was it? It was one of the 2 recent Sephora sales. So I haven't been using it for too long, but I have used it a fair amount of times. This is very on par with the Drunk Elephant Baby Facial, which is another AHA and BHA peeling solution like this one. What I've heard is that for people who have more sensitive skin, don't pick up this one, stick with the Drunk Elephant one because this can be a little too harsh for people who have sensitive skin. It can get a little too drying, a little too aggressive for those people. I don't, again, have that issue, but for people who their skin can't handle that, this isn't gonna be a good option for you, but for me, this has been really, really nice. And I kind of am willing to bet that I would repurchase this before I would purchase the baby facial, which is kind of crazy because I was a pretty die-hard baby facial user and repurchaser, but this may be my dupe for that. Like I'm still testing it out. This is another product where a little goes a long way. So I definitely want to wait to make any for sure statements like that, but I'm on the way to saying that this is going to be the next thing that I repurchase over the baby facial. Those are all of my skincare items. Let's move on to more beauty, makeup-y related items. All right, so I think that we're gonna start with face products and then move on to lips and then finish up with eyes. I have 2 foundation concealer products. The first is a concealer that I bought about a year ago and it's basically used up, and I've determined that this is one of my all-time favorite concealers, and it is the Kaja Don't Settle Concealer. You can see a lot of gaps in the container right here because of how much I've used this. I have mine in the shade Sweet Rice. The, I think, only downfall with this product is that there is not a lot of shade range. With that being said, this is the only concealer I have ever found that does not immediately start creasing underneath my eyes. I don't know what they did to this product, but it is basically magic. It is probably more of a medium coverage. I also wouldn't consider it super matte, but it's also not very dewy. It's I would say a satin kind of finish. I really love this and I will definitely repurchase this at some point. I did recently purchase a couple of concealers though, so I'm not in the market to be purchasing anymore, but I will use this the rest of the way up. There's really not much left in there. I've had to take like a little spatula in there and kind of like scoop around. This next product is a rediscovered favorite ever since CoverGirl went cruelty-free, and I think that they went cruelty-free in 2018, but it might have been 2017. Long time ago. This right here used to be my favorite foundation. This is the CoverGirl Outlast All Day Stay Fabulous 2-in-1 foundation. I stopped purchasing it because CoverGirl was not cruelty free, but then they went cruelty free and I repurchased it at some point and can confirm that I do in fact really love this foundation. I have mine in the shade 810 Classic Ivory. It is, I would say, a more full coverage foundation and it is definitely more matte, but it doesn't look super cakey or super matte on the skin. It kind of gives off more of a satin finish on the skin, which I really like, but it is very full coverage. It is what I have on my face today. It wears pretty well on my skin. Again, I do have oily skin. If you have oily skin, I would definitely recommend checking this out. The next two products are the same type of product. They are two highlighters, and I'm pretty sure I purchased both of these at the beginning of the year, I think. The first one is the Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shades Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. This is what the inside looks like. I love that she has a lot of different shade options in this formula and in this kind of compact design that has the two different sides. Also, I really love the formula. We have this side over here, which is Lightning Dust, that is a little more subdued. It's not quite as sparkly and glam in your face. And then we have, of course, the more sparkly glam in your face shade over here, Fire Crystal. And they're just such beautiful shades that I know that if I want something that looks really good on my skin, I can reach for this and I'm going to achieve that kind of look. I like that you get this really slim, sleek, beautiful packaging with two options on the inside. Really great for travel. Really love this product. The other highlighter that I wanted to talk about is, they're both pretty expensive, okay? They're, I think, above $30, both of them. This is the Natasha Denona Super Glow Highlighter. This is what the inside looks like. I actually might have picked this up at the end of summer. I think that this is a little bit newer to my collection. So it's one really big pan. Natasha Denona also has, I think, 3 different shades in this formula, but this is a beautiful highlight if you like a glowy highlight. This is a true glowy highlight. I wonder if I can kind of, I don't know how well that's picking up on screen, but it is a beautiful glowy highlight. I absolutely adore this when I want something that's a little more wabam in your face and you can really see it on the skin. I would highly recommend if you're someone who likes, again, glowy highlights. I do have an eyebrow product that is an honorable mention because this is still a little bit new to my collection, but I have been using this for the past 2 weeks and really like it. This is the Urban Decay Brow Blade Waterproof Pencil and Ink Stain in the shade Taupe Trap. So again, I have been using this, well, I've probably been using this for the last 3 weeks actually. And I've used it every single day. It is what I'm using on my eyebrows today. And I really just love the way that it looks. I have exclusively for the past few years been using the ABH Brow Pomade and the ABH Brow Wiz. And I haven't touched those since I've been testing this one out. And I really love the way that it makes my brows look. I love how easy it is and how I just have to use this one product instead of having to dip into the brow pomade and then, you know, scoop it out of my brush, fill in my brows, and then take the brow pencil and kind of do the sparse part of the front half of my brow. I just have to use this and it's been super great. Because I've only been using it for about 3 weeks, I don't feel too great about calling it a favorite of 2019, but that's why I wanted to mention it as an honorable mention. Next, I do have some brushes. Now I picked these up, I think early fall, and I have used these non-stop. They are from an indie brand and they are just so great and I love them so much. This is a brush set by Kaleidos Cosmetics. You do get 5 in the set. I think it's called the Futurism eye brush set maybe is what it is, and it comes with a little pencil brush, a flat kind of fluffy shadow brush, a bigger fluffy blending brush, a smaller fluffy blending brush, and a flat packer brush. I've been using all of these every single day, and they're so beautiful. They're so soft, so well made. I love the color. They're $19, which I think is a very, very good price. Would highly recommend. I know I got them a little bit later in the year, but these were absolutely a favorite. I would like more brushes from Kaleidos Cosmetics. Really, really great. Really, really great. All right, let's move on to lips, and we'll finish up with eyes. So all of the lip products that I'm going to be talking about, really I'm only talking about two, are from ColourPop. All of them are favorites, but let's talk about these ones first. These will come as no surprise to anybody who watches my channel, but the Luxe Lipstick Formula by ColourPop is my absolute, well, I won't say my absolute favorite because I think the other one that I'm gonna talk about is my absolute favorite, but these are a close second. The formula of these is so incredible. The shade selection is incredible, and I love the packaging. So I have three right here. These are probably my three favorite shades, at least the ones that I reach for the most. The first is the shade Pinkies Up, which is a very nice nude neutral shade. Let me give it a swatch. So there is a swatch right there. Again, a nude neutral shade that I can just grab for and throw on with a lot of different looks. The next one is the shade Belle, which is part of the Disney collaboration. It's this really, really pretty, it's not a pink rose, but it is a rose color, which makes sense because Beauty and the Beast. And this looks very similar to Pinkies Up, but it's got a much pinkier undertone, of course. So there it is right there. And then last, I have the shade 27, and 27 is a very deep kind of burgundy color. So there is 27 right there. So you have 27, Belle, and Pinkies Up. These are my three most reached for Luxe lipsticks. The lipsticks are really, really comfortable on the lips. They don't bleed out at all, which is great because I have some trouble with that with lipsticks, and these don't have that issue at all. They stay in place where I put them on my lips. I think I have a total of like 10 of these, but again, these are my top three most reached for ones. Now, on that same line, my top favorite formula lipstick of the year has got to be this one right here. Now, the packaging on this looks identical to the Luxe lipsticks, but this is a blur lipstick. This specifically is the Y2K Velvet Blur lipstick. Y2K is the shade, and I reach for this all of the time. It is so comfortable and such a good color for me. This looks very similar to Belle, but it is a little bit more warm toned than Belle is. It's kind of a mix between Belle and Pinkies Up. There is the shade Y2K. This is my most reached for shade this year. The Blur lipsticks are a little bit more matte than the Luxe lipsticks, so they dry down a little bit more. They're almost like a stain with a little bit more oomph to it. They're so comfortable on the lips, and they wear down so incredibly well. I love this formula so much, and I would highly recommend checking it out. I know that they at one point had some of these in my Ulta. That's where I got this one, and I did just order another one online, so I'm really, really excited to get another shade in this formula. So these shades right here and these two formulas, the Blur and the Luxe lipstick, I would really, really recommend if you've never tried them before. All right, and all we have left are eyeshadows, and I only have one eyeshadow palette to talk about because I only purchased, I think, 4 eyeshadow palettes this year. 1 at the beginning of the year, 3 more recently, and I haven't had a chance to fully use those ones long enough to really count them as favorites. And the one that I purchased at the beginning of the year was the Natasha Denona Gold palette, and although I really, really love that palette and really enjoy using it, I don't have the same adoration, is that the right word? I'm not sure, for that palette as I do for some of these products. So I wouldn't count it as an absolute favorite. Do I love it? Am I happy that I have it? Absolutely, but it's just not quite at the level that these products are at. Now the palette that I'm gonna be talking about is one that I've had for a while, and it's one that I reached for a lot this year when I just wanted kind of my go-to look, which is a very warm toned kind of berry look, and it is the Blushing Berries palette by Dose of Colors. And this is what the inside looks like. It looks very messy and very used. I love this palette. I love the shades in here, and I love the formula of these palettes. It just blends so well onto the eye. I like the fact that it's a literal ombre in here, so you can kind of start at the lightest shade, blending it into the crease, and then just kind of move on down the line. Super easy, super user-friendly. The formula is fantastic, and I love the brushes that come in these. They're just quite fantastic. So this was, I think, my favorite palette out of the year. It's kind of weird because I didn't purchase that many palettes this year, and the way that I use my collection is shop my stash style, so I use different palettes every month, so it's kind of hard to have a favorite when I'm circulating through them so much. But this is definitely a tried and true that I reach for, especially when I'm traveling. Because it's so small and easy to use, I bring this a lot traveling. Now, the rest of the products are all single shadows. I have quite a few of them, but I really love single shadows, and shadows like the ones that I'm gonna be talking about. Along with this palette right here, I often brought along a single shadow to use in conjunction with this palette. And it is one of my probably favorite products overall in the year of 2019. It is the Hourglass Scattered Light Eyeshadow in the shade Reflect. I've said it and I'll say it again, this is an obscenely priced product. I think that they retail for $29. I did recently pick up another one during the VIB sale in the shade Smoke. It's actually what I have on my lid today. They have just such a beautiful shine. I haven't found a product that is quite on par with this formula. It's like a wet kind of shimmer and glitter and gorgeousness. I love them so much. This one specifically I use all over the lid. Sometimes I use in the center of my lid if I'm doing a halo eye, or I'll even use this in the inner corner, and it just is so beautiful. I mean, you can see the pretty massive dent that I have in this product, which kind of goes to show how much I've been using it. I also went ahead and, oh, you can kind of see that wet shine look right there. I went ahead and swatched it right there for you. It's just so beautiful. Some of you might not think that that's very unique, very exciting at all, but I do, and I absolutely adore it, and I'm so glad that I have it in my collection. If I ran out of this, I would repurchase it. I love it that much. Oh, next I want to talk about some products that came into my life at the very, very beginning of 2019. And these were actually gifts from my friend Paige. Oh, I just showed what it was. These are two of the pigments in the ColourPop Zodiac pigment collection with Kathleen lights. Paige gifted me all of them. I think that I purchased like 4 of them, and then she ended up placing the order because she was also ordering some things, and she bought me the whole rest of the collection, which was so exciting. I've loved playing with these this year, but these two specifically are the ones that I've used and loved the most. I actually have this one in my inner corner right now, and I think that these are two that I wasn't planning on picking up when we placed that order. Like, I had paid and picked out 3 or 4 of them. I can't remember exactly which ones or how much I paid. I know this one for sure wasn't. This is the Lion, and then this one over here is the Maiden. No, actually, no, that I think about it, I wouldn't have picked up either one of these if it hadn't been for Paige. These never would have come into my life. But I've used these so many times, primarily in the inner corner, because they create such a beautiful shine in the inner corner. During the summertime, I used the Lion so often. Here, let me give you a close-up. So the Lion is a really beautiful light gold color, and then the Maiden is this really beautiful white, but there's a lot of different colors in this white glitter. Like, there's a lot of blue and yellows in here, but it's, you know, obviously predominantly white. They are so, so beautiful. Somebody made a suggestion a while back that I saw where I should commit to using a different one of these every month out of the year so that I could experiment and play around with each of them and make sure that I used each of them, which I thought was a really, really good idea. So I think I'm gonna try and incorporate that into my Shop My Stash next. Well, actually, it would make the most sense to just use the corresponding zodiac pigment with the current zodiac. Now that I think about it, duh, that's the easiest way to do it. So I might do that starting in January, but these two I would highly recommend checking out. All right, and I have one more product to talk about. It's kind of two, but it's one product, and it is the Kaja Beauty Bento Stacks. Now I have 3 of them. I have Orange Blossom, Rose Water, and Glowing Guava. The 2 that I have here that I use the most is Rose Water and Glowing Guava. Glowing Guava I picked up more recently, so I think this was one of the ones that I picked up during the end of summer-ish. And this one has 2 mattes in it, so it has this really nice neutral matte shade in the top, a really beautiful kind of burnt raspberry in the bottom, and then it has a really beautiful shimmer in the middle. I haven't used the shimmer too often, but I have dipped in there a bit. The mattes in here are to die for. They are just, they're so easy to blend. And then Rose Water is an all shimmer palette. So we have the top really pretty light pink shimmer shade. The middle shade I haven't used as much, but I have used it. It still looks like a very bright pink, but it's a little bit deeper than the top shade. And then the bottom one is a much deeper raspberry shimmer shade. In this palette, I've used the top one the most to either amplify a lid shimmer or to, again, add in the inner corner. I really love my inner corner highlights. These do retail for $21. I love these. I wish to collect all of them. I don't have a collector's mindset, but I really want all of these. There's definitely a couple of the matte bricks that I really want, and then I think that there's 1 or 2 of the shimmer ones that I like to have. All right, and those are all of my favorites for the year of 2019. That's crazy that the year is coming to a close. There are a lot of other things that I liked and used and enjoyed or purchased this year, but these are some of my tippy top absolute favorite things that just never let me down and never failed me throughout the year of 2019. Let me know what some of your absolute favorite products were down in the comments below. Maybe there are things that I'm missing out on and maybe I need to pick up during the year of 2020. I cannot believe that that is coming up just so soon. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe for more content from me, don't forget to do so before you go. All of those buttons are down below, and I think that is everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.